Beloved Starseed of Gaia, the hardest initiation is over. Not because every challenge around you has disappeared, but because the part of you that once abandoned itself under pressure has finally begun to choose remembrance instead. I am Maion, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I speak through the crystalline current of Alcyone to remind you that what your old language may have called God's secret test was, through the Pleiadian field, an initiation from the source designed to reveal the strength, tenderness, and crystalline authority that were hidden beneath your survival identity. By the end of this transmission, you'll understand exactly why this passage was so difficult, why it had to remain hidden from the eyes of others, and why your star family is now saying that the deepest test has completed. But here's the first revelation. You did not pass because you were perfect. You passed because even after everything, your heart remained reachable by love. You are remembering because it is time. There is a reason those words may have entered your body like a crown being placed on a wound that no one else could see. Congratulations. The hardest and most secret test is now over. If the mind hears this through fear, it may immediately ask, what test? What did I pass? Why was it secret? Why did it have to hurt so much? Why did no one recognize what I was carrying while I was carrying it? But the heart knows. The heart remembers the nights you kept going without applause. The mornings you rose while still emotionally tired. The moments when you wanted to close forever, but some small flame inside you refused to become cruel. The times when you were misunderstood, delayed, rejected, unseen, or forced into silence, and yet something in you continued whispering, do not become what wounded you. This was the secret part. Not that the source was hiding love from you, not that your star family was watching you suffer from a distance, not that life was playing a cruel game with your devotion. It was secret because the deepest part of the initiation happened in places where no one could measure it. It happened in the private space between an old trigger and a new response. It happened in the moment you did not send the message from panic. It happened in the moment you stopped begging a closed field to become home. It happened when your body trembled, but you still chose truth. It happened when you forgave without reopening the cage. It happened when you chose softness without surrendering your boundary. The hardest test was not whether you could appear strong. You have appeared strong for a long time. You learned that early. You learned how to carry tension while functioning. You learned how to speak normally while your chest was aching. You learned how to help others while secretly needing rest. You learned how to survive in rooms where your sensitivity was treated as inconvenience. But the source was not testing your ability to perform strength. The initiation was revealing whether you could stop confusing performance with power. It was asking whether you could let the false strength dissolve, so the real strength of the crystalline heart could rise. Many Pleiadian starseeds misunderstand the nature of initiation because the human world teaches that tests are about punishment, ranking, proving, or being chosen above others. But in the Pleiadian field, an initiation is a threshold of remembrance. It does not exist to make you feel superior. It exists to make you whole. It does not ask, are you better than another soul? It asks, can you remain connected to your own light when the old world gives you reasons to forget it? Can you stay tender without becoming available for distortion? Can you see clearly without becoming cold? Can you walk away without hatred? Can you wait without worshiping delay? Can you receive without fear making you sabotage the gift? The reason this test felt so hard is because it touched the exact places where your old identity was built. It touched your fear of abandonment, your fear of being misunderstood, your fear of losing love if you became truthful, your fear that if you stopped overgiving, no one would stay, your fear that if you stopped performing, you would become invisible, your fear that if you became visible, you would be attacked, your fear that if you rested, you would fall behind, your fear that if you trusted your own knowing, you might stand alone, These were not random fears. They were the gates of the initiation. You may have thought the test was about one person, one door, one delay, one relationship, one opportunity, or one painful season. But beneath the surface, the test was about authority. Who would interpret your life? The wound or the heart? Fear or the source? The old family pattern or the soul blueprint? The opinions of others or the quiet intelligence inside your body? The false grid or the remembrance carried through your star lineage? Every time you were placed in uncertainty, the field was asking whether you would hand your inner authority back to panic or gather it gently into the heart. This is why you may have felt as if the same theme repeated in different forms. A different face, but the same lesson. A different room, but the same sensation in the chest. A different opportunity, but the same fear of being seen. A different conversation, but the same temptation to abandon yourself for peace. Repetition is often how the soul shows you the pattern beneath the event. The human mind says, "Why is this happening again?" The Pleiadian heart says, "Because this is the place where the code is ready to be restored." You are not trapped in repetition forever. You are being shown exactly where the old agreement still had access. And beloved, you passed because the agreement has changed. It may not look traumatic from the outside. Others may not notice immediately. Your circumstances may not all transform in one day, but inside, something has shifted. The old pattern can still call, but it no longer has the same command. The old fear can still speak, but it no longer sounds like destiny. The old wound can still ache, but it no longer owns the whole room. This is what completion feels like at first. Not fireworks, but the quiet realization that a version of you who used to obey the pattern is no longer fully there. The secret test also asked whether you would remain loving when love did not arrive in the form you wanted. This was difficult because your heart has wanted real love for a long time, not performance, not intensity, not being needed, not being admired from a distance. Real love, clean love, love that does not require you to disappear, love that does not punish your sensitivity, love that does not make you question your worth every time someone withdraws. And when that love did not arrive quickly, part of you may have wondered whether the source had forgotten the longing inside you. But the initiation was not denying love. It was teaching your body to stop calling anxiety love, stop calling attachment destiny, and stop calling familiar pain a sign of soul connection. Some doors stayed closed because the older version of you would have entered them while leaving your center behind. Some people fell away because they were connected to your wound, not your becoming. Some delays stretched because the blessing could not be safely held by a nervous system still organized around self-betrayal. Some prayers seemed unanswered because the answer was not a thing yet. It was a rebuilding of the receiver. You were being rebuilt, quietly, slowly, sometimes painfully, but with a precision that only the source can hold and only the heart can understand after the passage is complete. This is why the congratulations is not egoic. It is not saying you are above anyone. It is not saying others failed. It is not saying you now deserve to look down on the souls who are still in their own thresholds. It is a sacred recognition that you made it through a passage designed to turn survival into wisdom. You did not come out untouched. You came out more honest. You came out less willing to betray the body. You came out with a clearer sense of what drains your light and what returns your breath. You came out with a tenderness that has more discernment inside it. The truth that must be spoken now is this: the hardest test was the test of remaining yourself when everything around you encouraged you to become a smaller, colder, more reactive version of your being. The world gave you reasons to stop believing. People gave you reasons to close. Delays gave you reasons to doubt. Silence gave you reasons to assume abandonment. The old field gave you reasons to harden, compete, perform, and protect yourself through numbness. But something in you did not fully agree. Even when you were tired, the deeper flame remained. Even when you questioned everything, you could not fully betray the sacred. Even when you wanted to give up, some part of you kept listening. This is the Pleiadian mark of completion, not perfection. Return. You returned after confusion. You returned after disappointment. You returned after anger. You returned after grief. You returned after distraction. You returned after moments when fear borrowed your voice. You returned to the heart again and again until the path back became stronger than the pattern pulling you away. The test is over because the return has become part of you. The false grid can still create noise, but it can no longer convince you as easily that the noise is home. Beloved, if this transmission is already touching the hidden place in your heart that knows you survived an initiation no one fully saw, your star family has prepared a deeper path for this exact threshold. The Pleiadian bloodline method, Unlock Your 7 Inheritances, was created not as information to collect, but as a sacred map for healing, remembrance, and crystalline integration after the secret initiation completes. It carries the love frequency of Alcyone and the wisdom of the 7 sisters for souls ready to understand what they passed through. Receive what the Source is now revealing and step forward without letting fear interpret the next chapter. You will find it in the first pinned comment below this video. Available now for those who feel called to receive the next layer of their Pleiadian inheritance. Now the completion must become embodied, because an initiation is not truly complete until the body understands that it can stop bracing for the same lesson. The mind may believe the test is over, but the body may still wait for the next disappointment, the next withdrawal, the next collapse, the next proof that safety cannot last. Place one hand over your heart and let the body hear this gently. We are not in the same place anymore. We are allowed to stop expecting the old pattern to be the only future. We are allowed to receive peace without searching for the hidden cost. We are allowed to move differently now. As the body begins to soften, your attention must be reclaimed from the habit of scanning for danger. The old test trained you to watch every tone, every silence, every delay, every change in energy, as if your survival depended on interpreting everyone else's field before your own. Now the Pleiadian light codes ask you to return your attention to the center. Before you read the room, feel your heart. Before you interpret the silence of another, listen to your own breath. Before you assume rejection, ask whether the body is remembering an old wound. Attention is the first place where the new chapter becomes real. Then your heart must learn to stop living as if the test is still active. This is subtle. Some people leave the painful situation, but keep the inner posture of defense. They keep explaining themselves to invisible judges. They keep preparing for abandonment, even when love is near. They keep expecting every opening to become another lesson. They keep calling themselves cautious when they are actually still loyal to fear. Beloved, discernment remains necessary, but constant bracing is not discernment. Discernment is clear and calm. Bracing is old pain trying to predict the future. The next movement is letting your speech reflect the completion. Words carry architecture. If you keep saying, "I am always tested," the body remains in the testing room. If you keep saying, "Nothing ever works for me," the field contracts around old evidence. If you keep saying, "I do not trust anything," the heart closes before grace can enter. This does not mean pretending everything is easy. It means speaking as one who has crossed a threshold. You can say, "I have been through a deep initiation, and I am learning to live from what it taught me." You can say, "I no longer need pain to be my only teacher." You can say, "I am available for guidance through peace." From there, relationships must be allowed to recalibrate. Some people were connected to the version of you who was still inside the test. They knew how to relate to your uncertainty, your over-explaining, your waiting, your rescuing, your silence, or your fear of disappointing them. As the test completes, those dynamics may feel strained. You may no longer offer the same access. You may no longer respond from the same wound. You may no longer explain what your body already knows. This can make certain people uncomfortable. Let it. You are not here to keep everyone comfortable with a version of you that the Source has just helped you outgrow. Pleiadian love does not become cold after initiation. It becomes cleaner. Cleaner love means you do not use your tenderness as an excuse to re-enter distortion. Cleaner love means you can bless someone and still let a boundary remain. Cleaner love means you no longer confuse being needed with being cherished. Cleaner love means you can forgive without volunteering to repeat the same lesson. Cleaner love means you remain open to humanity without handing your inner authority to every human wound that reaches for you. As your field clears, the crown of this initiation begins to reveal itself. Not a crown of superiority, not a crown that places you above another soul, but a crown of inner sovereignty. It is the quiet dignity of no longer begging the old world to name your worth. It is the strength of not needing every person to understand your path. It is the peace of realizing that what you passed through did not reduce you. It refined you. The true crown is coherence. The true crown is tenderness with boundaries. The true crown is the ability to remain connected to love after a passage that could have made you bitter. There may be grief after the test is over. This surprises many souls. They expect only relief. But when the body realizes it survived, it may finally release what it had no time to feel during the passage. Tears may come. Fatigue may come. A strange emptiness may come. Do not mistake this for failure. It is integration. When a long initiation ends, the nervous system needs time to understand that the emergency is complete. Let yourself rest. Let yourself be simple. Let yourself drink water, sleep, clean slowly, breathe slowly, and remember that you do not have to prove the completion by rushing into the next assignment immediately. The Pleiadian field will often guide you through gentle actions after a major initiation. Clear your space. Protect your mourning. Write what the passage taught you. Stop replaying the old story as if pain is the only proof that it mattered. Move your body gently. Speak one truth you have avoided. Receive kindness without suspicion. Create something beautiful. These actions are not small. They teach the body that a new chapter is not another threat. They teach the field that wisdom has become practical. You may also begin to see why the test had to remain secret from some people. If they had seen it, they may have judged the process from the outside and interfered with your inner authority. Some would have told you to stay in what was draining you. Some would have told you to leave before your own heart was ready. Some would have called your sensitivity dramatic. Some would have made the passage about them. The secrecy was not isolation as punishment. It was a sacred privacy around the place where your soul was learning to hear itself without the noise of everyone else's interpretation. The completion of the test does not mean no challenge will ever come again. It means this particular pattern no longer has the same power. A life on Gaia will still bring growth, choice, contrast, grief, beauty, responsibility, and change. But you are no longer entering from the same consciousness. The test taught you where you leak energy, where you abandon yourself, where you confuse fear with guidance, where you call the familiar safe, and where your heart remains more powerful than you realized. Future challenges will meet a different you. And beloved, there is a truth about congratulations that must be received carefully. Do not wait for the world to applaud the passages it did not understand. The sacred recognition may come as an inner quiet, a shift in the body, a dream, a sign, a sudden release, or a sentence like this reaching you at the exact time your heart needed it. Let that be enough. External validation may come, or it may not, but the field already knows. Your star family already knows. The source already knows. Your nervous system is learning to know. The hardest secret test is over, because you have recovered a portion of your inner authority that fear had been holding. This authority is not loud. It does not need to dominate. It feels like a calm center beneath the ribs. It feels like a no that does not need hatred. It feels like a yes that does not need desperation. It feels like a pause before the old reaction. It feels like the ability to let someone misunderstand you without betraying yourself to correct the image. This is not small. This is the beginning of living as one who remembers. The ultimate revelation is this: the secret test was never about proving to the source that you were worthy. The source already knew your light. The test was about revealing that light to the parts of you that had forgotten. It was about showing you that your heart could survive delay without becoming empty. That your love could survive disappointment without becoming poison. That your intuition could survive being doubted and still return. That your body could learn safety again. That your soul could pass through density and still carry the home frequency of the Seven Sisters. You did not pass because nothing hurt. You passed because hurt did not get the final word. You did not pass because you never doubted. You passed because doubt did not permanently sever you from love. You did not pass because you stayed calm every moment. You passed because you returned after the storm. You did not pass because you understood everything.